$185,000. That is the median retirement savings for Americans getting close to 60 in 2026. Not the number you hear in commercials. Not the big number financial companies love to show. The real middle number. And here's why that should make people stop and think. If you follow the 4% rule, $185,000 gives you about $617 a month. That is not retirement freedom. That is a grocery bill, a utility bill, and maybe one unexpected car repair away from panic. But the number most people hear is much bigger. The average retirement savings for Americans age 55 to 64 is around $537,000. Same group. Same country. Same data. So why do the numbers look so different? Because averages can lie without technically being wrong. Imagine Bill Gates walks into a small bar. The second he sits down, the average net worth of everyone in that room jumps into the millions. But nobody else in the bar actually got richer. That is exactly what happens with retirement data. A few wealthy households pull the average way up, while the typical American is living much closer to the median. And that median is $185,000. Now compare that to what Fidelity says you should have by age 60. Their benchmark says you should have 8 times your annual salary saved. If a household earns around $75,000 a year, that means they should have about $600,000 saved. But the typical household has $185,000. That is a $415,000 gap. That is not a small miss, that is a completely different retirement. And here's the part most people do not talk about. Only a small percentage of households near retirement have over $1 million saved. So when you see headlines saying retirees are sitting on huge balances, remember this. Those numbers often come from people already using financial apps, tracking investments, and actively managing money. That is not everybody. That is the part of the bar where Bill Gates already showed up. Now let's talk about the real danger. Most retirement plans assume you control when you stop working. But many Americans do not. A lot of people plan to retire at 65 or 67. But in reality, many retire earlier than expected because of health issues, layoffs, downsizing, or family problems. That changes everything. Let's say someone is 59, has $310,000 saved, and plans to work until 65. On paper, the plan looks okay. Then the company restructures. The job disappears. Now that person has 6 years before Medicare starts at 65. That gap can be brutal. Health insurance before Medicare can cost well over $1,500 a month for someone in their early 60s. From 62 to 65, premiums alone can add up to more than $60,000. That is before deductibles, before co-pays, before emergencies. This is the invisible bill most retirement calculators ignore. And for someone with $185,000 saved, that one gap can eat a huge part of their retirement account. Then comes the Social Security problem. You can claim Social Security at 62. But if you claim early, your benefit can be permanently reduced. For many people, waiting until full retirement age gives them more. Waiting until 70 can give even more. But if you lose your job early and savings are running low, waiting may not feel possible. So people claim early. They solve today's income problem with a decision that lowers their income for life. That is where retirement plans break. Not because one thing goes wrong. Because 3 things stack together. Forced early retirement. Expensive health insurance before Medicare. Reduced Social Security for life. Each one is serious. Together, they can completely change someone's future. So what should people actually take from this? First, stop comparing yourself to the average. The average is often distorted by wealthy households. Look at the median. That tells you where most people really are. Second, build a real 62 to 65 buffer. Not just an emergency fund. A specific plan for health insurance and living costs if work ends earlier than expected. Third, think carefully before claiming Social Security early. Run the numbers before you claim, not after. Because once that decision is locked in, it can affect every year of retirement. The truth is, most people who build a stable retirement do not do it by chasing hot stocks or trying to beat the market. They do it by staying consistent, saving steadily, keeping fees low, taking employer matches, and staying invested long enough for time to do the heavy lifting. Retirement is not just about how much you saved. It is about whether your plan survives real life. A job ending early, a health problem, a market drop, a medical bill. That is the real test. So if you are close to retirement, do not ask, what is the average? Ask, what number actually describes my life? Because the wrong number can make you feel safe. But the right number can help you prepare. If this video helped you understand retirement in a clearer way, make sure to subscribe to the Untold Compass. Drop a comment below and tell us what age you think people should start seriously planning for retirement. And share this video with someone who needs to see the real numbers before it is too late.